Hello and welcome to the final part of the 7th episode of Ukulele Jam Kit. In the past few weeks we worked on a chord progression, a blues scale, and a strum pattern that are all inspired by the tune Megalovania from the hit video game Undertale. Today we're going to be learning the main riff for that and putting it all together to make our jam track. If you haven't seen the earlier parts of this episode, check them out in the links in the description below. But let's go ahead and dive into the Megalovania riff, which looks something like this and sounds something like this, nice and slow. Now, to play this, we're essentially going to be using our E blues scale, which is in part B. So it's really important that you check that one out if you're struggling with this at all, because it's the exact same notes, just presented in a different way. So let's go ahead and try playing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our index finger here on the 4th fret of the C string. We're going to play that twice. Then we're going to take our pinky and go all the way up to 7 on the A and play that. Now, I think this is the hardest part of the whole thing because this pinky is going to cross from the 7 on the A to the 7 on the E. So we got to get really comfortable getting that to move. What I like to do to make it a little bit easier is after I play the 7 on the A, I actually release the pressure, which creates what's called a staccato feel, which just means the note is nice and short. And that gives me enough time to move the pinky over, and it also sounds cool. Right? And then when we go on from here, we're going to go to 6 on the E. Just take your ring finger, place it on 6, take the pinky off. And then we're going to play 5 with our middle finger. And then 7 with the pinky on the C string. And then 4 with the index on the C. 7 on the C again with the pinky, then 5 on the E with the middle. So a lot of finger gymnastics going on here. And it looks something like this, really, really, really slow. Something like... Now the timing of this is really important. It sounds really cool. What I actually recommend is just playing along with the jam track if you're struggling with it, but you can also count out the timing. So if you know how rhythmic notation works, you'll notice these are 8th notes. So this is 1 and then this is 2 and. So 1 and 2 and then when we go to the 7 on the E, that's 3 and 4 because it's a dotted quarter note, which gives it 3/8 note value. Then we're going to play 6 on the E, which is an 8th note, the and, but it's tied to the beginning of the next measure. So it's worth and then the 1 of the next measure as well. And then the 2, or and of 1, excuse me, will be 5 on the E, and that will also encompass 2. And then we're going to play 7, which is the and of 2, and that will also encompass 3. Confused yet? Don't worry, we'll break it down further. And then the last few notes are going to be and 4 and. Oof, that's a lot, right? But if I count through it and play it, it should sound something like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's the trick. If you can play along with me doing that, you'll be able to get the time. It really has a specific groove to it with a lot of what's called syncopation, which is accents on offbeats. You'll notice we're playing on the word and a lot to create that sound. But let's go ahead and try it nice and slow together a couple times, and then we'll play it with our full jam kit. So it should sound something like this. I'm going to count through it as we play it, and then I won't count just so that we can get some reps. Something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 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 2 and 3 and 4 and. And that's sort of what it sounds like. That's playing it nice and slow. As you get comfortable with it, you can start speeding it up a little bit until you get this riff really going. So now let's go ahead and hear it with the jam track. Should be something like this. Oh, and there you have it, our Megalovania inspired jam. To download a copy of all the materials shown here, including the backing track, be sure to check out my Patreon page, which is linked down below. In the meantime, I've got to go back and try to beat this boss here on my video game. I hear the music's pretty good in it. I hope you guys have had a great time with this one. Be sure to check back for the next ukulele jam kit. I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.